Let's take a look at the topics on homework number 11. The first topic goes back to Unit 1 with solving two-step equations with decimals. Get your calculator ready. Alright, let's take a look at our first question here. 3.6 equals 1.5 minus 0.7z. So I have a constant of 1.5. So I'm going to subtract 1.5 from both sides. Pick up my calculator, and 3.6 minus 1.5 is 2.1. Oops. 2.1 equals negative 0.7z. We're going to divide by negative 0.7. Divide by negative 0.7. So take my previous answer. Divide by negative 0.7, and I get negative 3. So z is equal to negative 3. So let's type that in here and submit. Alright, let's try one more. Again, get your calculator ready. We're going to add 3.6 to both sides. So it's 8.64. Equals 3.6c. We'll divide both sides by 3.6. And we get 2.4. So we'll type that in here and submit. Alright, I think you're ready to take a look at the second topic here. Linear equations with distribution. So be careful when you're distributing that you watch your signs. A negative 5 times a negative x is a positive 5x, and a negative 5 times a positive 1 is a negative 5. Everything else will remain the same. Now be careful here. These x's are on the same side, so we don't use an inverse. We combine. We combine like terms here because they're already on the same side. So 5x's take away 3x's is 2x's, and negative 5 and negative 1 make negative 6. And now I can finish solving this two-step equation by adding 6 to both sides, and then dividing both sides by 2, and I get my final answer. Use your calculator if you need to. Pause the video if I went too fast. I believe we said the answer was negative 3. Alright, let's try distributing one more time here. Watch your signs. So negative 20x minus 8, everything else remains the same. And don't forget that when they're on the same side, you combine like terms using the operations that you see. Negative 20x plus 2 is negative 18x. And negative 8 plus 4 is negative 4. And then you use your inverses. Negative 18x equals 54. And then you divide by negative 18. Use your calculator if you need to. So let's see, we have 54 divided by negative 18, and it gives me negative 3. So I'll type that in here as well. Alright, let's move on to the third topic here. X and y intercepts. And we can determine an x and y intercept by taking each of these items separately. Right, so each of those items separately. So negative x is one item, and positive 2y is the other item, and then we both get the same answer here. It equals 9. So the work for my x-intercept is to divide by negative 1, and the work for my y-intercept is to divide by 2. Now, if you get a decimal, you can certainly write the decimal, or you can just leave it in that fraction form. No need to compute if you don't have to. The Delta Math will accept the fraction answer. So negative 9 and 9 divided by 2. Submit your answers, and you're done. All right, let's try the next problem. Again, you split and solve. So this is one, and this is the other. So my first equation is x equals 17, and my second equation is negative 4y equals 17. The first equation requires no work. The second equation requires a division. Again, if you can't do the math, leave the math. Leave it like a fraction. So I'm going to type exactly what I see here. Negative 17/4. All right, that's it. That's how you find a x and y intercept. Take your equation here and split it into 2, leaving fractions if you get them. All right, the fourth topic, back to horizontal and vertical lines. So remember, if you are a zero slope, yes, you could ski, but it wouldn't be much fun. If you are undefined, right? If you're undefined, that's when you're going over the hill and falling to your death. See that upside down U? Okay. You cannot ski on that. See those eyes? So, if you have a horizontal line, like this one here, horizontal line, you have a y equation. If you are a vertical line, you are an x equation. So what do we have here? An x equation. And an x equation is undefined, or touching the x-axis only at -5 on every single point along the line. X is -5. So we're going to choose here the type of line. We want it to be vertical, and then we're going to slide it so that it's touching x at -5. Right, so we choose the type of line, and then we slide it. All right, let's review that again. Looking at this graph, it says write the equation of the line graph below. Well, what type of slope does it have? Is it a zero slope, or is it undefined? All right, if it's undefined, it's an x sentence. If it's a zero slope, it's a y sentence. So this has a zero slope. That means it needs a y and an equal sign. And the y number that goes here is the y number that you touch. So our equation is going to be y equals -7. One more problem. We have an x equation. An x equation is undefined or vertical. And the x equation is equal to 6. So my x dot has to be on a 6. One last time, they want us to graph the line y equals -1. So y, yes, I could ski, but it would be 0 fun. Put it on -1, and you're done. All right, let's go back. Take a look at the last two. Writing equations of lines. So, if you want to write an equation in slope-intercept form, you need to know 2 numbers. This one is the easiest to find because you can see it with your eyeballs. You look for the y-intercept right here where it touches the y-axis. So that means the b number is going to be a -1 or a -1. The m number is found by counting the distance between 2 points along the grid lines. We call it a rise and a run. A rise and a run. Up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. So the slope is 2 over 1, which can also be simplified to just a 2. The 2 goes here, the -1 goes there. So y equals 2x minus 1. You could also reverse it. -1 plus 2x. Either one of those would be acceptable for your answer. So I'm going to type in here the y, then the equal sign, and the 2x minus 1. One more time. Let's see where we cross the y-axis. So 4. So I'm actually going to start my problem the other way this time. Y equals 4. And now I have to find the coefficient of x. So I'm going to count my rise, which is 2, and my run, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up 2 over 5. Up 2 over 5. That's the number that goes with x. So I'm going to write here plus 2/5 x. Whoops, the x needs to be on the side. There we go. Never in the bottom. All right, let's take a look at the last topic here, finding slope from points. You'll probably remember this from the last few assignments. We use this wacky formula, also known as the change in the y values and the change in the x values. So first thing you always do is set up your giant subtraction fraction. Okay, sometimes I like to line my points up like this. And then I just like to circle the last numbers because that's who I need to start with. And it doesn't matter who you start with as long as you constantly go the same way. So if you do this to there, you have to do this to there. If you do this to that, you have to do this to that. Okay, so it doesn't matter, but you have to start in the same location. So if I start at the bottom here, I start at the bottom there. So 4 minus minus 6 and negative 8 minus negative 8. Pick up your calculator if you need to. If your calculator has a fraction button, then I suggest typing this all in as one giant fraction like this. 4 minus minus 6. Excuse me. Yikes. Sorry. 4 subtract negative 6. I want to get that negative sign. See, it looks different. And then negative 8 subtract negative 8. And we get divide by 0 error. And anytime you have a divide by 0 error, that's because the number in the denominator is 0, and that cannot be done because it's undefined. So we're going to choose undefined as our answer, and we're going to do another problem. Again, we're going to set up our giant subtraction fraction, and we're going to do y minus y, 7 minus 8, and then x minus x, negative 9 minus negative 6. So notice I started here, so then I had to start there as well. All right, 7 minus 8 is negative 1. 9 minus negative 6 is negative 3. And a negative divided by a negative is a positive. Use your calculator if you need to. One last time. Set up your giant subtraction fraction, starting with your y's. Negative 5 minus negative 5, then starting with your x's. Negative 6 minus 6. So put this in your calculator if you need to. We're going to get a 0 over negative 12. Anytime you have a 0 in the numerator, the whole thing is 0. All right, that concludes homework number 11. Good luck.